Welcome back to another video where I show you everything I eat in a day. So as always, I'll do Sunday through Friday, and I'll show you everything I eat. So that's lunch and dinner. I don't usually do breakfast. I will include snacks, except for fruit, because I just have some apples and some mandarin oranges. I'm not going to show you that every single time. And then I don't show what I drink because that's usually tea without sugar, the occasional sugar-free soda, water, that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to show you that every single time. So I'm just making some quick lunch. Usually my lunches are low-carb, keto-friendly, but today is Sunday. I'm having a cheat day, and I'll have some bread. Usually I do brown bread when I have my cheat days, but my nephew was with me this weekend, so he wanted some white bread, so I got him that. So I'm just using that up. So I just have some spicy mayo, some chicken deli meat, and some cucumber. And I'm just quickly gonna put that on. But yeah, you'll see everything today. So I'll actually show you how I make all these dishes. I won't just show the end result like I usually do. So if you want to see that, just stay tuned. And I'm just going to use all the ingredients that I prepped in today's Sunday prep day video. So if you want to see what I prep, check out that video. That will be linked at the end. But yeah, that would be why everything is already ready to go. And you'll just see me grab those things. But yeah, I'll just give you a quick overhead view. And without further ado, let's get started with the video. So lunch for Sunday, some sandwiches with some chicken deli meat, some spicy mayo, and some cucumber. While I edit today's Sunday prep day video, I'm gonna have my bar of chocolate. All right, let's get some dinner going. I'm preheating my Ninja Foodi on bake, 180 degrees Celsius. So here I have a little baking tray that fits in my Ninja Foodi. And here I have some spears of carrots and parsnips. So I'll add a little bit of olive oil and some salt. Give that a little toss. And I'm just gonna put that in my Ninja Foodi. And I'll give that about 10 to 15 minutes until it's starting to brown. I'll check on it, and when it's starting to brown and it's almost done, that's when I can add my glaze. I'm gonna do some balsamic and some honey. So in the meantime, I've also boiled a pot of water with some salt. And here I have some celeriac or celery root. So just gonna throw that in, and I'm going to boil that with the lid on until that's nice and soft. So check back in a couple of minutes. So that was 15 minutes. Let's take out this basket. They're just starting to brown around the edges. So I'm gonna put in some balsamic vinegar and a little bit of honey. Give that a quick toss. And I'm gonna put that back in my Ninja Foodi on bake for 180 for another 10 minutes. And while this was going, I also preheated my other Ninja Foodi. And on grill, on the highest it goes, I'll just throw in my sausages for 10 minutes. And that will be done at the same time. And in the meantime, let's check on the celeriac. Almost done, just a few more minutes, so I'll just let that go. And then just drain that. So the celeriac was done, I gave that a quick strain. And then I'll get my masher and mash everything down. And I'll also mash in a little bit of butter. And that's dinner for Sunday, some honey and balsamic glazed parsnips and carrots, some celeriac mash, and some grilled sausages. Lunch on Meatless Monday, I'm just having the vegetable soup that I made in this week's Sunday Prep Day video, and I'm having that with some low-carb crackers. So for dinner for Meatless Monday, I'm gonna make a vegan curry with chickpeas and lentils. So we'll start with a pan that's on the heat, and I'm just adding a bit of oil. And to that, I'm gonna add some mustard seeds. And I'll add some of the curry paste that I made in my Sunday Prep Day video. And I'll add some salt. And let's spread that out a little bit. and I'll just let that fry off for a bit. And now that that has softened a bit, I'm going to add a bit of fenugreek seeds and get those stirred in. I'll add some cherry tomatoes. You can use canned tomatoes or whatever you have, but I have some cherry tomatoes, so I'm just using these fresh ones. I'll just let those cook down for a little bit. Add some coconut milk. And then I need to add some water, so I'm just going to use that to rinse out the can. And I will throw in a couple of these curry leaves. And here I have some chickpea. I just soaked those overnight. These were dried chickpeas. So I'll just put those in. And I got some red lentils, so I'll put a handful of those in. And here I have some green lentils. And again, I'll just put a hand in. And I'm using two different kinds because they have different textures. The red lentils will kind of melt away and thicken the curry, and the red lentils will stay together and have a nice bit of texture together with the chickpeas. So I'm just going to stir that in. And this has come up to a boil now, so I'm going to switch it from this hob to the small hob. So on a low flame, I'm just going to let this simmer for a while, probably like an hour or so. And it's done when the chickpeas are nice and tender, and the red lentils have completely dissolved, and the green lentils have a nice little bite to them. And right before that's done, I'll just boil some rice. Okay, the chickpeas and the lentils are pretty much done, so I'm just going to cook some rice. I have some boiling water, and I'll just add a portion of brown rice, and I'll let that simmer for a couple of minutes until that's done. And my curry is almost done. I'm just going to add a little bit of frozen spinach. Just add a little bit more veg. So in the time it takes for the rice to cook, this can just defrost and cook with the rest of the curry. So let's check back in a couple of minutes. And that's dinner for Meatless Monday. Some vegan curry with lentils and chickpeas with some brown rice. Alright, it's Tuesday, time for lunch. It's going to be very simple. Just going to have some green beans with some sausage. So I have some boiling salted water. I'm going to add a whole bunch of green beans. And put the lid on, and I'll just let that go. And then I'm going to take my sausages. I preheated my Ninja Foodi to grill, 240 degrees Celsius, the highest it goes. And I'm just going to put my sausages in and let them go for 10 minutes. And by the time they're done, my green beans will be done as well. And that is lunch for Tuesday, some grilled sausages with some green beans. All right, let's make some dinner for Taco Tuesday. I'm making some quesadillas. I have a pan on the heat, nice big frying pan. A little bit of oil, and then here I have some sausages, and I'm just going to take them out of their casing and put them in. And I'll just break that down and get some color on that just to fry it off. And now that is all broken down, it's starting to get some color. I'm going to add some of my veggies. I'm going to add some onion, some garlic, peppers, and some chilies. And while that sautés, I'm just gonna set out my tortillas. I'm just using whole wheat tortillas this time. So I have my tortillas. I put cheese on one half because I'm just gonna fold them in half. You can just put one whole tortilla on top of the other, but I prefer the folded kind. So I'm just gonna take my mixture and put that on. So lots of veggies and some pork sausage. And to flavor this, I'm just using some store-bought salsa. Sometimes I make my own, but this time I'm just using store-bought. Just a little bit. Top it with a little bit more cheese. Fold it over. Squish it down. And I'm just going to put that in the pan. This one as well. And that's just on a medium heat. And I'll get some color on both sides, and then they're done. And there we go, dinner for Tuesday, some whole wheat quesadillas with pork sausage. All right, let's make some lunch for Wednesday. I have a wok on the heat with some oil. That's nice and hot. And then I've just chopped up some chicken. And I'm gonna throw that in and get some color on that because we're making a low-carb stir-fry with some zero-carb rice, which is not actually rice, but it's made of konnyaku. But it's a shape of rice, so let's just get some color on this. And now that we have some color on, I'm gonna add my veggies. So here I have some sliced carrots, some onion, some chilies, peppers, and some garlic. And I'll just saute that for a bit as well. And while that is going, I'm just going to rinse and drain my low-carb rice. I'll add a bit of soy sauce and my zero-carb rice. I'll add a little bit of curry powder just for some extra flavor. And I'll let that warm through. And there we go. Lunch for Wednesday is a low-carb stir-fry with chicken and zero-carb rice. I was a bit hungry, so for a snack I got some mixed nuts. So we're gonna start some dinner for Wednesday. I'm gonna make a quinoa bowl, like a chicken fajita quinoa bowl. And for that I need to marinate some chicken first. So I have some oil. And into that I'm gonna mix in some of this Mexican spice mixture. So it has things like garlic, onion, cilantro, things like that. So I'm just gonna mix that in with some salt. Give that a quick mix. And into that I'm gonna put some chicken that I just cubed and mix that in. And I'll just put this in the fridge to marinate, and you can do this for a few minutes up to overnight. So while the chicken is marinating, we'll get started on the quinoa. So I have a pan on the heat with a little bit of oil. I just have some quinoa here. I'm using a mixture of different colors. You can use any color. I'll just put that in the oil and give that a toast for just a minute or two. And then when the quinoa is getting fragrant, it's time to add some water. So for a cup of quinoa, you need about 1.75 cups, so almost 2 cups of water. And I'm just gonna let that come to a boil. And once that's up to a boil, I'll let that boil for about simmer for about 15 minutes with the lid on. It's been about 15 minutes. The quinoa is done. All the water has been absorbed. So I'm just gonna set this aside because that needs to sit with the lid on for like 5, maybe 10 minutes, and that will get nice and fluffy. In the meantime, I got 2 pans on the heat with a little bit of oil. And one pan, we're gonna put our marinated chicken. And in the other, I have some strips of peppers, some chilies, and some red onion. And I also want to add some garlic, but I'm going to do that later because if I add that now, it's going to burn. So what I will add is a little bit of salt. And I'll just get some color on the chicken and I'll saute the vegetables. Okay, the vegetables are done, so I'm going to turn the heat off and then add some garlic and toss that in. To finish off the quinoa, I'm going to juice in a lime. I'll add some salt and some cilantro, and I'll mix that up, and then it's time to plate up. And that is dinner for a Wednesday. Some lime cilantro quinoa with peppers, onions, garlic, and chilies, and some chicken. Okay, let's make some lunch for Thursday. I'm gonna make some chicken skewers with a cucumber salad. So I'm gonna start by putting some oil in a bowl. Add some tandoori seasoning and some salt. And mix that into a marinade. And then I'm gonna add some chicken that I cubed. I would have preferred to use chicken thighs, but I didn't have any chicken thighs in the freezer. So I'm just using chicken breast, and I'm just making nice large chunks. And I'll make sure everything is coated. And that can go back in the fridge to marinate for a bit. Okay, the chicken is marinated for a little bit. I threaded it on some skewers, and then I preheated my Ninja Foodi on grill. Highest it goes, 240°C, that's 464 Fahrenheit. And I'm just gonna put the skewers in, have the grill basket in. I'll grill that for 10 minutes. And then I'm just gonna make a very simple salad, I guess you'll call it. I have some sliced cucumber and I have some really thinly sliced red onion, and I'm just gonna mix that all together. And that is my little salad to go with my skewers. And that's lunch for Thursday, some tandoori chicken skewers with some cucumber and red onion. All right, let's make some dinner. I'm making some risotto, so I have a pan on the heat. I'll add a little bit of oil and a bit of butter. I'm using both so the butter doesn't burn. So I'll just let the butter melt and get light brown. And meanwhile, I also start my my kettle. So the butter has started to brown. It's light brown now, not dark. So I'm gonna add my vegetables. I have some celery finely diced, some red onion finely diced, and I have some garlic. So I'm just going to let that soften. And now that the vegetables have softened, I'm just gonna add my rice and toast that for just a moment. And now I'm just gonna add some stock. If you're using fresh stock or like a box of stock, you want to warm that up. I'm just using boiling water and some bouillon powder. So I'm gonna put my bouillon powder in and add about 2.5 cups of boiling water for every cup of rice. Give that a good stir. Put the lid on, heat on low, and I'm just gonna let that simmer for, it depends on the rice that you have, probably about 15 minutes. It can take anywhere from like 15 to 25 depending on the size of your rice, etc. So, but I'm just gonna leave that alone, and in the meantime I'm also gonna preheat my Ninja Foodi on grill again for my sausages. So I just checked, the grains are almost done, they're al dente now. So I'm gonna kill the heat. I'm gonna add in some frozen peas, and I'm going to add in some cheese. I don't have Parmesan cheese, but I do have some mature cheddar, so I'm using that. I'm gonna mix that in, and I'm putting the lid back on, and I'm just leaving that to stand for 10 to 15 minutes. And in the meantime, my Ninja Foodi is preheated, so I'm just gonna put my sausages in, and just as you've seen me do before, I'm just gonna grill them for 10 minutes. So then it's time to plate up. And that's dinner for Thursday, some sausages with some risotto rice. Let's make some lunch for Friday, Fish Friday. So I'm gonna have some salmon with some broccoli. So I have a pot of boiling water that I added some salt to. And I'm just gonna add some florets of broccoli. And in the meantime, I'm also preheating my Ninja Foodi. So I'll just let that go. And for my salmon, I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil on top. And then here I have a spice blend with like dried tomato, basil, what else is in there? Thyme, and some garlic, onion powder. I'm just going to put that on top. And since there's no salt in that mixture, I'll add some salt. And I'll just put that in my Ninja Foodi on grill. Again, 240 Celsius, so that's 464 Fahrenheit. And we'll do 6 minutes should be enough. So yeah, I'll just check back in when all of that is done. And there's lunch for Friday, Fish Friday, some grilled salmon with some broccoli. I'm quite hungry still, so for a snack I got some of these chicken wings. So for dinner on Friday, I'm gonna make some fish tacos. So for that, I started by preheating my Ninja Foodi on air fry. So here I have some flour. I'm gonna add some garlic powder, some onion powder, some paprika, a little bit of chipotle powder. You can use cayenne. And I'll add some salt. And I'll just whisk that all together. And then here I have an egg that I'll beat. And then here I have some panko breadcrumbs. So I'm going to move this aside. And then here I have some white fish. I'm using some pollock, but you can use cod or any other kind of white fish. And I'll just cut that into chunks. And these chunks I'll put in my flour mixture. Make sure everything is coated. Then in the egg mixture. And then in the breadcrumbs. And I'll repeat that for all of these pieces. So all my chunks are breaded, so now I can just put that in the air fryer. And those will be done in a couple of minutes, probably about 10. So while that is going, I'm quickly going to clean up and then I'll make a quick salsa. And for this salsa, I'm going to use some diced red onion, some cilantro, some chilies, and some diced peppers. And to this, I'll add some salt, some cumin. And since I used up all my minced garlic, I'm just going to use a little bit of garlic powder. And I'm going to juice in 1 lime. And I'll just mix that up. And now while I wait for the fish to be done, I'm just going to heat up my tortillas and then I'm ready to plate up. And that's dinner for Friday, some fish tacos. Then the last thing for this video, while I go watch a movie, I'm gonna have some beef jerky. So that's everything I ate this week. If you like this kind of content, I try to do these videos about once a month. And if you want to see more of what I eat, every single meal I post over on Instagram, which you'll find linked below. And if you want to see how I got all the ingredients that I had ready to go, you can check out my Sunday prep day videos. I do those every single Sunday. And yeah, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Until next time, bye for now.